Hello and welcome to another video on Asia Now. In this video, I have a whole bunch of news to get to. An American vlogger and fugitive being arrested in the Philippines. The Philippines officials want to tighten up registrations for permanent residency and retirement visa. And we have a man that's been drunk and acting a fool, a foreigner again, and also do not wear police officers' shirts and a lot more. Let's get into this video, but before we do that, I know you're new to the channel or haven't had a chance to subscribe. Take a quick second, hit that like button so YouTube knows you like these videos. Hit that subscribe button so I can continue to grow and to be motivated to make these videos. Let's get into some temperatures and exchange rate. Right now, temperatures are scorching hot across the Philippines. An exchange rate just over 56 pesos for 1 USD. Now, let's talk about the main story: an American vlogger and fugitive being arrested. Let's give you some more juicy details. I've seen this guy somewhere around the YouTube atmosphere with my main channel, but I haven't really looked at any of his content or watched any of his videos. But let's get into some juicy details. In Cebu City, Philippines, the Bureau of Immigration arrested an American national wanted in his home country for fraud. The fugitive, identified as Paul David Cardwell, 57 years old, attempted to extend his temporary visitor's visa using the Bureau of Immigration's online services last March 27th. The BI said that they got a secondary check after being prompted by the system that the subject is a convicted U.S. felon. He's reportedly a fugitive wanted for defrauding around $850,000 or more than 48 million pesos from a hospital in Wyoming, United States of America. A manhunt was conducted and intelligence operatives found him in Cebu last April 3rd while inquiring about procedures for applying for a permanent residence visa. The American man previously made headlines due to the said case after he was ordered to serve more than 10 years in prison. Whoa! He was quoted during the hearing saying, "I was prideful, I was ignorant, and I'm a thief." Public records show that he was again arrested in Bangkok for fleeing his fraud case. He currently remains in the custody of Bureau of Immigration before being deported back to the United States. I mean, that just goes to show you not everybody you see on YouTube is a good person, including myself. I'm not perfect, but I'm not going to sit here judge people. But I know a lot of other channels had him on their videos, talking to him, interviewing him. I don't want to point fingers or blame those people because it's almost impossible to do background checks on some people they just simply interviewing. However, I'm glad that the Bureau of Immigration, Philippines, and Thailand are well connected enough with U.S. Authorities to be able to go ahead and take someone that's a fugitive into custody. Let me know in the comment section, because surely this cannot be the first time I've heard of this guy or seen this guy. I'm sure you guys probably know more than I do, but that's just some story about an American vlogger wanted by the U.S. officials for defrauding a hospital, almost $1 million US. Staying with immigration and foreigners, Senator Nancy Banay has urged the government to tighten the vetting process for foreigners applying for special residence retirees visa. Banay made the appeal to the Philippines Retirement Authority following the arrest of the 4 members of the alleged Chinese syndicate who are on SRRV holders, so retirement visa holders. Actually, I covered the story a few videos ago, so check that out if you haven't seen it. Some Chinese people using fake documents. But as far as I knew, they were using actual legit Filipino passports. I don't know what that has to do with actual legit foreigners trying to stay here longer in the Philippines by obtaining visas, but I'm all for safety, so whatever they got to do, just comply with the rules. I know I don't qualify for the seniors. Do I? Yeah, I do. Over 35 years old. I just don't have enough money to. Actually, I don't really know the. Moving on. Let's go on to the next thing. Enough of my personal woes here in the Philippines. Where am I looking at? Which camera? Here, there. Next up, staying on misbehaving foreigners, we have a student from Papua New Guinea, 22 years old. He was drunk and belligerent. A student from Papua New Guinea who's taking up hospitality management course in one of the universities in downtown Cebu City was arrested by the police for going wild inside a boarding house after getting drunk. Apparently, this man got drunk. He started smashing tables and chairs. The residents called the police, who came and arrested the man. Reports say that he's generally a really nice guy, but not when he's drunk. A man was arrested for wearing the athletic uniform of the PNP, the Philippines National Police uniform, and taking selfies at a park. Now, to be fair, or not to be fair, but here's a kind of a side note. I'd recommend set aside some budget, the Filipino police, so you can go ahead and upgrade your uniforms or make it a little bit more than just a t-shirt that someone can print out at home. But of course, don't do it. It's against the law to wear a police officer's uniform of any kind, whether it's a t-shirt, athletic wear, a regular uniform, and any other kind of representation if you are not a police officer. Next, the story of a barbershop who used roofing nails to post up their signs for their barbershop against trees. Of course, this is strictly prohibited to use nails to harm trees, essentially. So 57 of their signs were taken down. That can, of course, go to, not everybody knows these laws about not posting metal against a tree. Number one, you may not be educated on the topic. Number two, they may have known it and just simply ignored it. I'm wondering which of the two is this case. Next up, we have some military news, some controversial news with the USA and Philippines joining to go ahead and do some drills. We have some fighter jet drills and some other drills as well. I'll share some details with you right now. The U.S. Army is introducing a joint battlefield training in the Philippines to improve combat readiness, including by ensuring adequate supply of ammunition and other needs in difficult conditions in tropical jungles and scattered islands, a U.S. general said. The Biden administration has been strengthening the arc of military alliance in the Indo-Pacific to better counter China, including in any future confrontation over Taiwan. The U.S. moves dovetail with the Philippines' efforts to shore up its territorial defenses amid disputes with China in southern China Sea and the ability to respond to frequent natural disasters. So that's one thing. Also, they're doing a 2-week drill, a fighter jet drill in the Philippines as well. So we got some Army, some, what is the air kind? Air Force. And of course, we saw the recent military joint collaboration between Philippines, Japan, the USA, and Australia in the oceans, showing, of course, strength when it comes to China being aggressive in the China Sea. But not everybody's happy. There have been some protests going on in Manila. A bunch of people went on ahead and protested in Manila, saying that we do not want China here. We do not have to resort to military situations or conflict just because we were opposed to China aggression. Doesn't mean we have to go ahead and do that. A lot of international uncertainties going on right now, and America, as usual, doing things that not everybody's happy with. For example, recently they just went ahead and increased some more airdrops for humanitarian aid in Gaza in one hand, but just last week they passed a bill of $4 billion of bomb and ammunition to Israel. I don't get it, one or the other. Regardless, those are the stories. Let me tell you a little bit more detail about the protests that went on. Filipino protesters trample on Xi effigy, condemn China's maritime aggression. Protesters in Manila trampled on an effigy of Chinese President Xi Jinping on Tuesday as it condemned China's aggression against the Philippines in South China Sea. The protesters marched towards the Chinese consulate in Manila, chanting, "China, leave! China, leave!" while others called out China's aggression against Filipino people in South China Sea. The Philippines and China have had a series of maritime run-ins, including an incident last month where China used water cannons, actually 2 incidences, to disrupt Philippine supply mission to soldiers stationed on a grounded warship in the disputed Second Thomas Shoal. I quote, "Our message is addressed to the Chinese government. Move out of the West Philippine Sea. Dismantle its illegal structures. Recognize the 2016 arbitral tribunal ruling and stop the harassment of Filipino fishers folk in the Philippine supply missions," said Mong Platino, one of the protest leaders. And that was some of today's top stories from around the internet. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of the American fugitive, the vlogger. Let me know what you think of China being China. Let me know about what do you think American troops being all over the place. Anything you want to share. If you take time to write it, I take time to respond. I spoke a little too fast today because sun's going down and I'm feeling excited about some random things. I don't know. I guess dinner time's coming up. Anyhow, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys tomorrow.